Things that I've learned.
Things that I've
people
learned.
keep missing.
Yeah, I actually
going, oh my god.
I actually had a presentation. I was going to wait for when Ray was going to come back, and he had this website.
Okay.
I also have lots of thoughts on that, having gone down the rabbit hole lots of times. Plus, I just put together a 2012 Microsoft Server 2012, which is new. I mean, most people have 2008 or 2003. I got all of those too. The 2012 came about because I had that Arduino problem where I was going to be able to remotely power cycle the server, and then it just came to me when I just reload this thing.
Like it rebooted?
And I reloaded it and I upgraded to 2012. No problem.
No problem.
No problem.
Stuff works.
Stuff works. Don't have to go back and push the power button.
No cast devices found.
Yeah. Another thing is Node.js. I'm starting to play with that.
Node.
And
Well, but be
I'm
careful.
starting to learn a lot more about gaming because my kids in the camp, they all want to build video games. Something that's called AREDN. You heard of it? It's the one with the balls,
Yeah, it's
the circles. I call it the game with the circles that floats forward. They just love to play that game. I mean, it looks like a mindless thing.
Don't know.
Yeah.
It is mindless.
And
But you get points, and you get bigger.
these are crackers or whatever, crinkles, crackers, something crisper.
I have no idea. I've got it.
Well, let's see if I'm connected to connectivity.
Well, my phone doesn't.
Oh, I'm connected to the wrong one. I wonder how that happened. Thought I
There it
was
is.
connected.
Just put in one. There's another concept that's going on with
Okay.
website, mobile responsive. If you build a new website today, it should be mobile responsive. That is,
Oh, mine are.
display well on a tablet, display well on a PC,
Yeah.
or on a phone.
So it should inquire and ask which one,
Well,
and then
you can
just-
do it a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different ways of approaching that. But the end goal is, and there's a lot of people got lots of theories about it. The end goal is that this thing should display right, no matter what kind of device
There's
you
a
have.
couple ways you can do it.
Yeah.
One is you can do the classic, like you can have a separate version of the site for mobile. Although then at that point you kind of have to build two front ends, which
Two
may or may
sides,
not be
yeah.
what you want to do. But I guess that's really better for the user, but it's a lot of work. Otherwise, you can make it adapt to different widths.
You
thought-
can also use
I thought with HTML.
Bootstrap.
Yeah, I thought with HTML5 there was a way to
Or
actually do that.
HTML, Bootstrap, and jQuery. This is something I have to teach the kids for the site they do for the competition. That's be mobile responsive.
Yeah.
It's not that bad. The main site that they use, that we advertise with, it's actually responsive. I can talk about that.
Yay.
Okay.
Yeah, Bootstrap's pretty nice. If you don't have, at least you don't have to roll all your own widgets. And it's not too intrusive, so it's like whatever you don't want. Okay, I'll use something else. I guess the only thing is use something else other than the default theme. Holy crap. There is this thing that happens because where it's like if you use Bootstrap enough, you start recognizing when other sites are using Bootstrap.
Lots of people are using it these days.
Because the templates
So don't use the default theme. Get yourself something. Good grief.
So what's this new subject you're going to speak about?
Mobile responsive websites. Or responsive web. Real term is responsive web.
Responsive webs.
It's mobile responsive web.
Mobile
Look at
responsive.
that.
When people were trying to get into the auction thing, online auction thing. They were selling online auction templates, and you could tell just how many sites had bought this exact same template. It was, this site looks exactly like this site, which is exactly like this site with a different color.
What is mobile
That's not a bad thing,
responsive
though.
web?
I mean,
Templates are great.
I'd rather
Yeah.
have that, honestly. 'Cause
Templates are fantastic, but it's funny, you know, he said that he could recognize when they're all using the same bootstrap. I used to be able to sit there and look at these auction sites and go, that's this auction template, that's this template, that's the same
And
template.
there are some people that don't care. Like the people who do the back-end kind of stuff. The artsy people, they want it to look nice. And there's some people, including me, who really just don't care.
I mean, it's funny. One of the things I found out,
not in
I keep
marketing.
relearning, is that I still use Bootstrap, and whenever I feel like, okay, maybe I shouldn't use Bootstrap anymore, I will run into someone's personal site where they roll the entire theme themselves, get angry at it, and go back and say, thank goodness for Bootstrap.
It takes a long time, and you need to be creative. You know, and one of the things everybody discovers just about how creative you are.
Like, you should have a rule that says, like, okay, you want to roll your own thing? Sure. Please do not be worse than this.
Responsive web design?
Yeah.
At this point, part of me believes that half of all blog templates are anti-user. It's like if I have to mouse over your button and I still don't know what it does, it's like, good grief. Who wrote this?
I broke it. I broke it for you. Just so you know.
It looks pretty. I gotta go to everything to find out what it does.
One of my kids at camp, he's kind of a Brian kind of character. He is good at doing this stuff from scratch. Using Bootstrap and HTML5 or just a regular text editor. I use tools. You know, I will use Visual Studio.
When you want to do that, Frank?
I can do that next week.
Well, I might as well chime in next week too.
Okay, okay. You got to come up with your name. I don't have to look yours up. Had to look Frank's up. No, I'm not going to look yours up. No, I don't. Had to be,
At some point, we should probably do something on it. And I'm not that far down the road on it yet, but Node.js, server-side JavaScript. Interesting.
Node.js.
I played with it a little teeny
yeah.
bit.
Particularly if you want to do like UDP kinds of stuff.
There's
Careful with that though. They don't have a standard library.
yeah.
They have a standard library, but JavaScript's standard library is very, very tiny. Like,
I was trying to figure out something to do it with the ESP 8266. I just haven't seen it yet. It's easy to deal with between like a PC and a server or two PCs and that kind of thing. I haven't seen anything. I mean, you could force it, but I mean, I haven't seen anything that's natural.
I don't know if I've seen it with. There's a couple of boards that were based off of the Node.js. I don't think it was an 8266. But the Node MCU makes me think that it's related to that somehow.
Node MCU seems like, I mean, I even look at dates.
Okay, Jeremy, what's your
They
topic?
haven't done a lot of work
some
since
points
like
about web
mid
development.
2015, but last 6 months have been kind of dormant. Nobody's doing new stuff.
It's only so much you can do.
Well, I mean, unless an individual takes it upon themselves, you know, which I don't really want to do. But I know the stuff that needs, particularly with that HTTPS kind of thing. You know, there's libraries that need it. Writing libraries is not a joke.
Yeah, be careful with if you're going to have a larger project in Node, document and watch your dependencies, because I mean, I would caution against thinking you can dev something and leave it alone, because that space is still really unstable. Or not unstable as in software unstable. Unstable as in it seems like every library seems to die off every week and a new one comes up.
Seems like they're getting a lot more users on board, though. A lot of big companies are starting to do that.
Yeah, same time, make sure you can maintain it. Otherwise, you're going to come back to it. Like, if you're going to leave it alone for a year, you're going to come back to it, and like half the things you're going to want to swap out.
We're just experimenting.
But that happens.
I wouldn't do anything
So you get
production.
used to.
So is that your,
You ready for me?
Go ahead.
is that your Weebo or Weeb? What is that?
These
Yeah.
are $10 RF sockets.
RF?
RF.
Oh, okay, okay.
All right.
With your,
430 or 330?
These, I bought the wrong ones. These are 315.
315, that's like your garage door.
Yeah. Well, my garage door happens to be in 433,
I just got a new one, and it's 315.
and it's 315.
Yeah.
Well, there's this little dooflippy here that I got from Kickstarter. It's called Hook.
Hmm.
And they have a little web app on your phone, and you basically hold the remote near this, and it will program the remote so that you can use your phone as a remote. They had some problems. Apparently, the 315 and the 433 do not play well together inside the same box.
Okay.
So if you get 315 megahertz stuff, you actually have to email them right now until they figure out how to get the firmware to play nice together.
And this is another one of those things that's on server in China.
I honestly don't know where it's being hosted at.
It's probably in China.
The company's out of Washington.
Using Node.js, I think I have a quick way of getting beyond the server in China and actually doing it on the server in my basement. I haven't gotten it, but
You have to figure out how
it
it
works.
Well, see, I have, let's see here.
The other thing I've been discovering too is if you use something like UDP, you can sort of set up your own handshake protocol, which is slick. You just have to, I mean, there's a lot of simple protocols that people are using, but you can set your own up.
So this is the Hook app, and I have all my buttons programmed, and I can go and click on that.
What is that thing you have plugged in?
This?
Yeah.
This is the Hook.
It's called a hook.
It's called the Hook.
Okay.
These other things are $10 units from Lowe's or whatever.
That came from Menards.
Menards, okay.
From Menards? Wow.
So it's a
So
standard.
it was a 3-pack for $10.
Wow.
So
It's hard to beat that.
basically a low-cost home automation system.
And you need that.
$35 for this. I think they're selling them for $60 now, but I got it for $35. And you program all your devices, and you can have multiple devices, and you can do off, on, off, on. And if those were plugged in, I could do off and on.
The app is downloadable from where?
Right now,
Google Play?
Now, I don't think it's in play yet. I think it's still, you can only get it off their website right now. And they keep, they're updating it. I mean, this is pretty new because I think I got this maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Price is right.
So it's a very low cost way to do some home automation stuff. And as we know, these are just relays that are inside of here.
Is this, how much? 2 amps? 10 amps?
It probably says on the back.
15 amp? It's a high rate.
Non-inductive. You're starting your pool motor.
Resistive or general purpose?
General purpose.
Probably,
5 amp.
15 amp, you might get away with it for.
Usually you don't need to do 15 amp though. That's
a big one.
Yeah, that's a circuit breaker.
So, there's actually all kinds of stuff that work in this range, though, like garage door openers. It doesn't work so well with garage door openers because they rotate their codes.
Yeah.
So,
which in a sense is a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
There's those electric blinds.
Yeah.
With the remote. Some of the fans operate at 315 or 433, and you can program that into your phone.
So how many of these things can you have? It's like 256.
I forget exactly what they said, but I think it was 256.
Wow.
The problem is that I can see, because I know if I go and I buy another set of these from Menards, they're going to have the exact same code.
Yeah, that's true.
As these.
That's true, because they have what is it? The receiver transmitters that I use for my wireless. They come from Home Depot, but they have about 3 sets. I started with one of them without running any wire in the basement. I can turn on a light, actually just like that, and it's a battery operated thing. But they only have like 3 or 4 different codes for different units.
So yeah, I can use my little. I can use that. I can use the. I've got a. We'll kill the Chromecast from here for a second.
So what's the range on this thing?
Maybe we'll kill the Chromecast on this.
Probably about 20 feet.
Should be about 80 foot.
Wow, it's pretty good. The
about
garage door remotes have really nice range. I mean, I can be at the stop sign, halfway down the street, and open the garage door and it comes up. It just amazes me.
I can do this here. Oh, it's not showing the URL. How crappy is that? But I can just do a generic web call right from the web browser and get it to turn on, which means if I can call it from the website like this, I can program an Arduino to do something with it. Or an ESP8266 to do something with it.
Good.
Which is actually why I wanted this to open the garage door to bring the trash can robot into the garage. Unfortunately, that ain't going to work because my stupid garage door rotates codes on me, and I could not get it to.
Why can't you use your garage? Okay.
Can't you put that in line with your?
No, your garage. Use your garage door open.
Well, I only have one garage door opener because we have apparently lost all of them, the other ones. But
is it a Craftsman kind of thing?
Yeah, it's a Craftsman. I could get another one.
Yeah, you could.
Well, okay, we're moving anyway.
Fact, if it's a new one, I could give you one.
Well, we're moving anyway, so it no longer matters.
Yeah.
I didn't want to take my garage door opener apart to wire it into the robot, which I know I could do. I wanted something more self-contained that actually would be more like an automation thing. So not only could the robot open the door by itself, it could turn on some lights for you or whatever.
So you want to give power to the robot?
A little bit of
A
power,
little power.
just a little.
If you want to just do the relay, you could put it into your manual.
I could. I could do some. I could still have done something like what Frank has already done with his, but I was trying to think simple and easy and something, you know, if we actually built this and it went to like production, nobody's going to want to take their stuff apart to wire their own garage door into it, but they would probably plug this in and go and hold their button next to it and program it.
Which is the way you would program a real garage.
Yeah. So I was trying to think off into the future, even though that's why I bought it, but it's not going to work for what I actually wanted it to. I still thought, well, hell, it's still useful for things.
You could sell it to somebody.
Yeah.
You say, look, I'll sell you this for $100 and give me $200, put it in.
See, do that.
That's the way business works. You pay nothing and mark it up 1,000 times.
Here,
Yeah, I got
this will show
got
the.
an app on my phone that's Bluetooth. Opens my garage door.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them.
And a lot of the new ones already do
Mine
that.
has home link built into it.
Yeah. Mine just happens to be an older garage door. It won't do it.
So that's what mine is. It's an old, well, it's a new door, but I put it on an old door and took a Bluetooth headset. And,
Oh, you made your own?
yeah.
Huh?
And just
See,
hooked it up to
for us, we could do that, but if you're thinking long-term selling it to somebody, you got to think they're not probably going to want to wire or dismantle or
They
take
probably
apart.
wouldn't want to do it, but actually, if you were thinking about even production, it would say that you need to create something just like that. Basically, close the you know, it's like a button that you're putting on it, a remote button.
Yeah,
Same kind of thing.
there's all the web calls for my particular switch.
Go through all the trouble of setting this thing up and find out it's only Arduino compatible. The iPhone wouldn't let them load the app.
Oh,
So it would work on my Arduino devices, but not my iPhone. So,
well, Windows is, I mean, they've sent you down the wrong path.
well, the guy I got the instructions for building this thing because this is an issue. So he sold a pre-assembled unit that was iPhone compatible.
Oh,
There you go.
making money.
So
So did you buy it?
yeah,
Well, hey,
yeah.
there you go.
Oh, when I started pricing the parts, he was cheaper than the parts would have cost. But it was like so.
My demo is simple though. My demo was pretty much nothing today.
Supposed to keep it simple.
It took longer to plug all this stuff in.
So your little box just connects to your Wi-Fi, then
Yeah,
transmits an RF.
this here, it's got an Arduino in it. It's actually a prototype, a Spark Proton. They're not Spark anymore. God, I can't remember who they are now. It's got a Wi-Fi board in it, and then it's got a 315 megahertz board and a 413 megahertz board,
This unit doesn't.
which are very, very similar to those little 433 megahertz
Transmitter receiver thing.
that we've got, that I already had.
Okay.
And
This unit doesn't need to connect to the web.
yes,
Why doesn't it actually programs your remote, so why does it need to go to the web?
it's still communicating with the web through the app. So when you get the buttons and stuff,
See, he can go anywhere now. That's why it's internet.
Oh, okay, so the app is actually on your phone.
the app's on my phone.
Okay, so let's say if you were in Kansas City,
I could
You could.
I could go click, and whatever I've got plugged into that would do whatever.
You can annoy your wife from long distance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That
Why is the light going on and off? Why is it doing that?
That meets the goal of my garage door open. Basically, could be anywhere.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to throw some curves since I know they're there. Suppose the garage door starts up and stops. How do you know if it's up or down? And the way I handle it is I got a camera, so
You've got a
can
camera.
see. But that's something you think about.
Well,
thing is stuck.
I've thought about this a couple. Well, you could probably do a couple of different things. I don't know what the easiest would be though. So I was thinking like an ultrasonic sensor on the back wall, or at some distance where it could actually see that it's closed.
Yeah.
And if it's all the way up, then it's going to be beyond its range.
Yeah.
If it's partially up or down, it's going to reflect that back.
Yeah, I saw an article where a guy did that. He actually put it on the ceiling.
Uh-huh.
And so the door comes up, it's in range, it goes down, it's out of range.
Well, I know Jim doesn't really like this idea, but you could put like little reed switches or something along the track somewhere.
Those are probably the most reliable, even though it's a little tacky. Because I thought about that too. But.
Well, I think you could do that easily, but it would need to be aligned right so that it always hits the switches in the same spot.
If it's long enough, I mean, if it's long enough, you got long magnet, it's not going to be that much different. And sort of in the real old days, we used to make these things. I mean, it's like when you want a burglar alarm switch, you actually cut up magnetic material and you made your own.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that if I was doing it, that's probably the way I would do it, is with some sort of reed switches or something.
Another problem I see with what you wanted to do, these garage door openers operate with a pulse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what you've done with this thing is hard on or hard off.
Yeah.
So if it really was with the door, you have to generate a pulse. Like that light comes on, goes off, stay on a second, go off.
I know. There were a bunch of different problems with my original idea. It's just
as you go down the path, these things come up.
Well, at the time when I bought this, it sounded like a good idea, and the more I got into it, the more I realized that these things are a lot more complicated than I thought they were.
Ran into one other thing. It's not normal. Somehow I got a lightning strike or some kind of spike, and I came home. I had the thing hooked up, and all three garages were up like 3 inches.
Yeah.
Which was something had hit it. It was just a small pulse.
Just enough.
Just enough for it to get it started. And you have no idea where that came from, how it happened.
I've actually left, come back, and the garage door has been open. I'm like, I didn't hit the button. How does that happen? So yeah, there's some weirdness happening, but
now you can put in audits and stuff, things like that, because that's what happens with let's say real systems. In the telephone system, which operates a lot like this kind of stuff, there's just all kinds of backup software to check this, check that. There was a lot more of that than real software.
I was going to have the robot obviously not move until the door was actually open, so it was going to have the sensors on it, to tell if the door was open or closed. But as far as being half open or half closed, I don't think it would be able to tell that,
It's something that could be licked. You just got to put more stuff in.
Just more stuff. Needs stuff.
Just keep adding it in, And then you start asking about the complexity. Because actually, before I loaded this new server package, I already got this thing with 4 switches on it, so I can remotely I can pulse the power on a PC. And then I started thinking about how I'm going to hook it in, and it was just getting more complex. You know, do I make it wireless, or do I connect it to the network, and do I just use a different port, same IP address, or
the more
another IP address?
The more you think
What?
about it,
Yeah.
it's complicated.
Then I said, why don't you just try, because I didn't want to reload. Turned out it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
Windows 2012, the server goes in right over 2008. I mean, you don't have to rip everything out. It just installs right over. And I didn't know that until I kind of looked at the problem. Almost every time I do something like this, you always think of a better way. You do it and you say,
If you stuck a ultrasonic sensor on the door itself, pointed down towards the ground, you could tell exactly where that door's at.
Actually, I've seen, no, that works.
Yeah.
I've seen articles where that was done.
You could tell pretty much where that door's at.
Yeah.
The whole entire time it's moving.
But now you need to integrate that into your door opening process. Which means some more tricky code. Or if you're very efficient, you'll write computer sciences code, which not many people write. Most people write spaghetti code.
You've seen my code. You know what it looks like.
That's what my son told me. He said, computer scientists write eloquent code. Computer engineers write something that will work.
It works. It works. Ship it.
Wait till you have a bug fix it later.
Yeah, I realized very quickly, it's like the day that I got this in the mail, and I was trying to get the garage door to actually do something, I was like, this is never going to work for this project. And then I started, I Googled how the Sears garage doors actually went, and I went, oh, crap. It rotates codes, and it does this, and none of which this thing can actually do. They're also, most garage doors are using FSK modulation, and this thing only works with ASK modulation. So, two entirely different modulation schemes. It would never work even if I got it to program.
Well, you learn a lot in the process.
So I went.
The thought is that.
So I went out to Menards and paid $10 for some outlets to play with.
When will all of this stuff that I'm learning pay off for anything?
Well, and even the process of buying the outlets from Menards, I learned the default settings is for 433 megahertz. Try to avoid the 315 megahertz stuff because it's just kind of a pain until I figure it out.
Didn't cost you much. That's it.
Yeah. No, I'm actually quite happy. It's among the cheapest ways to get semi-real home automation done.
Yeah. You can do things like turn the TV off,
Yep.
It's downstairs, and you go upstairs. Oh, God. Click.
Turn lights on, turn lights off. And integrated through IFTTT, you could have it based on weather or whatever you really wanted. And knowing the websites, the URLs that actually make the calls happen, you can program an Arduino to do a lot of this stuff. So,
and when you think about that stuff, think about the amount of stuff that has to be working to turn a light on or off.
Yeah, well, it's just like any of the other little projects I've done that send information to the web and pass it to 2 or 3 websites and then come back and it does it. Any one of those in that chain disappear and the project stops working.
The problem with the web right now is it's not reliable. Reliability is a big problem. And you know, if you start, like, we have hospitals start integrating this stuff into any emergency system, it's got to be reliable.
They would never use something like this in an emergency situation.
Time Warner Cable will sell you all this.
All these people are selling this stuff. I mean, I see that. The Ring doorbell people, you know.
Is it this?
How much that thing cost? $199 or something like that. And then the woman didn't give the right story. Well, I'm bathing the kids. What did she say? I'm bathing. You don't want to tell them anything, you know. Go away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm actually not here. Come and break into my house.
Well, that unit that I saw is your answer, the $26. It's got everything. It's got somebody's approaching, and it'll email you. Okay, so you email a picture, and you can connect. So it's a pretty good, getting pretty close.
That's actually something that I haven't done. Like
Figures.
What happened?
Yes, PA266
Thing back?
actually send an email or connect to Twitter or something like that.
Now, it turned
there was
out
an
with
Ethernet port on this.
that camera I've got, you can't use Windows 10. They still haven't got the software for 10, which is weird. They got a subset where you can look, but you can't do much. The other version looks pretty nice, but not for Windows 10. Okay, I saw those. They're offering not that unit. They got another unit for $21 at Menards now, and it's listed at up to 66 feet.
Yeah, this one said 80 foot, and
Okay.
it was in the clearance rack.
bin. Why do you think it was in the clearance bin?
Because Menards is cheap and a lot of stuff
Or is it not selling?
may not be selling.
Most people, I mean, how do I deal with this thing? I mean, you have to have somebody who is really kind of interested in tech.
This was over, believe it or not, they still sell the clapper. You remember the old clap on, clap off?
I can do that with a 555.
They still sell them at Menards. They're $6.99.
What a deal.
Yeah, you put a wire on the input side of a 555. Those things are very sensitive. And then you connect a relay on the output, and you can have a clapper.
Well, I think this is the Menard brand, Smart Electrician, because there's a bunch of stuff in their store that's labeled Smart Electrician. And if I was guessing, I would say it was their brand. And what they've actually done is they've made it look like they're on sale for $10 so that they could sell them.
Okay. Or just start selling them.
I think they were always $10, and it just looks like they're on clearance.
There's a bargain here. Micro Center does that too.
Yeah.
There's a bargain in the bin.
Yeah. That's my own personal guess, because they're not sitting actually in the bargain bin. They're sitting with the regular products, but they've got the sale label on them, like they're on sale.
I do have a Leroy-like deal.
Okay.
that may, from what Kenny was saying, we got one of those Wee-Woo. Remember my Wee-Woo?
Yeah.
We got one of those, another brand from Aldi's.
Yes.
Kenny got it for $21.
From who?
Aldi's.
The food place?
Aldi food
They
place.
selling stuff like
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Yes.
I listened to the story. So they got them in the discount bin over there for $21. I said, that's a reasonable price if it works. That's what I paid for the Wee-Woo. Well, Kenny couldn't get it to work, and he went back over there and tried to get his money back. He saved his receipt. We knew when we did it. For that price, Yeah, he couldn't get it to work, so he took it back. They tried to give him $2 and something back. He said the price on there is $2 and something back. So they may be over there for $2 and something. I may have to pick up a couple of those.
So it should have really been $2.
Yeah, hard to say.
But it still doesn't work.
If they'll sell
But
it,
it still doesn't work.
yeah, but for $2,
Oh, okay, that's why.
for $2, I can give it to Leroy, and Leroy will make it work if it'll work. Like
Leroy will find a big hammer for $2 if he can't make it work.
Yeah. If we can
Hey
get
Jim, come over here and watch me smash the crap out of this thing.
I'll buy 4 or 5 of them and send them over to Leroy. Like Leroy got my wee woo, okay, whatever that means.
He originally it actually was a smart outlet. It wasn't one of these RF outlets, and he couldn't get it to work, and he brought it in. It took me a while, but I figured it out. I got it to work.
Yeah.
So if it's like that process,
Or bring it over, we'll split them up. Everybody will have one.
so if they really, are you thinking the Aldi's in Middletown?
Yeah, and they could have. I'll have to check it out to see if the price was $2 and something. I'll bring a handful.
We need to
take
buy.
them back.
Yeah, we need to buy some of those if they're $2 and something.
But it could be just a mistake. She could have misread it. Instead of $2.21, it was $2.10. But hey, it's worth a shot. They'll sell them to me. But it could have just been a mistake. But it's worth a shot for sure.
Yeah, the way you still could make a garage door opener, you just press the button twice. Click on off.
Yeah.
Well, something like this would probably even make it as easy, because I know there's a relay in there. I could open up the control thing and wire it in like you did. And then, like you said, hit the button a couple times and it goes and does what it's supposed to do. But my original thought was to keep it as simple as possible so nobody had to open their stuff up and rewire stuff.
These things do tend to escalate.
So.
I ran into a need, or I have a need, for a device that shouldn't be too hard to do, particularly since you've messed with the MP3 player stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a answering machine. They would answer the phone and would simply read a text message to the people, okay, and say, if you want to talk to Jim, press 3. And
then we need to get a DTMF decoder.
It seems like you should be able to buy something that does that.
You can't. It's $139.
Oh, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I always had that at my house when I had 3 kids in the house. It's like, yeah, if you want to talk to me, press 1. If you want to talk to Mrs., press 2. If you want to talk to Ben, press 3. Well, I didn't have anything hooked up to it. It's like they would just push the button and leave a message.
Yeah, they have different mailboxes. This one, the phone doesn't ring until you push the button, and it's fixed. It's fixed to one number. The number is 1, and that's all it does. It's dumb as a box of rocks. It detects that somebody pushed 1.
So we need.
So you want to build something. So you need a parts list and a diagram.
You need an MP3 player, and you need a tone recognizer and an Arduino.
You need that.
Tone decoder.
Tone decoder.
Yeah.
Oh, we wanted like an input module for 99 cents. It just says the tone came through, this tone came through.
Yeah, I think I've got one at the house.
Yeah. They should be around. It was a big deal 2 meters 30 years ago.
Oh my God, was it a big deal?
Yeah.
No, I think I've got one that was actually meant for the Arduino, not for the
okay.
radio.
Oh, okay.
I ordered off of Kickstarter. It's called a 100 voice shield, and it actually has much closer to like 256 voices in it. That may actually have everything you need to actually make it work. It was pretty cheap. It should be here soon. It's coming from Canada.
Yeah, since this is it could be as dumb as a one-man show. MP3 recording, record whatever you want. Push. All you gotta do is say push one. If you're a business, push one.
That's what I've got. I'm pretty sure I bought one of those.
Yeah.
I will have to look at the house because I am pretty sure I bought one of those decoder.
So you got to play the message and do this. You got to find
Now,
out. You got an impedance match into the phone system.
Now, how are you going? I don't have anything to actually connect it to the phone.
What do you need to connect it to the phone? You just need to decouple. Well, what kind of you have a digital connection, or you have what is it connected to?
RJ11.
I mean, that's just a jack, though.
That's the jack.
And what signal do you have? Or is it like a Cincinnati Bell kind of thing, or?
Yeah, when it rings, does it make it go to 96 volts AC?
96 volts. 48 volts.
Mine at the house used to be 96.
It's Magic Jack. It's the Magic Jack RJ11.
That can't go that high.
No, I don't think that's probably got that much to it.
That's interesting. They do have
thing.
to be able to do a regular ring voltage, though, to get a conventional phone to work. I use a Panasonic cordless phones. That'd be interesting to see what the voltage is coming out of that.
Yeah, I was wiring one up at the house when I was much younger, and somebody called me as I had my hand inside the thing, and it knocked me on my ass.
That's 48 volts.
It wasn't the voltage so much, but it's at like 60 hertz.
It was at 100 volts. Seriously, it was.
Yeah,
it used to be that high. But this is a 5-volt adapter for the Magic Jack.
Yeah.
When it knocked me on my butt, it was like 98 volts, and it was at some. I felt it I had been hit by 120 volts before and never felt that like that. And I looked it up. It was like it's off on a weird hertz frequency, and it just knocks you on your butt.
In my mind, it says probably something like 20.
Maybe it was 20. It was a strange.
Yeah.
It was a strange, and it hurt. And I remember feeling it for probably 2 or 3 hours. My arm was just.
You remember it for a while.
And it wasn't so much the voltage. It was. I'm pretty sure it was the hertz.
Usually people get hurt when they jump. On a ladder and you jump.
Yeah.
Let's just say this. I remember it to this day, and I try to avoid messing with the phone line if the phone line still has power to it. I will make sure I go out there and disconnect that little thing so it does not kick me on my butt. Remember that to this day.
I got hit by 220 once. I was working on something, and I made sure I disconnected the 110, and the guy, after I got zapped, he says, "Oh, that's also got 220 wired into it."
Oh, there's 220 in there also.
Didn't I tell you? And the interlock's also broken, so I had to jury rig it.
Well, we would need some sort of coupler or something to go from the telephone into the Arduino.
What are you detecting?
Well, you need the ring. You need to detect the ring, don't you?
Okay, the ring
So that
is going to be low voltage.
So it automatically answers the phone and then says hit 1 for Jim or hit 2 to do something.
First thing you need to do is something to get the MP3 player just to dump a message onto the phone. Really, it's probably armed for DTMF when you first turn it on. You pick it up, connect it to DTMF to look for the code. There's 2 codes, so it doesn't false well. It's difficult to false. So then you play the message. All you need is an MP3 player to play the message or whatever, and then wait for the tone.
1, 2,
And then after the tone, you got to ring the phone though, or probably just make a noise with the.
You need to be able to detect that the phone rang in the first place.
If it doesn't sense a tone, then it needs to hang it up also.
Yeah, it's got to detect a ring. That's true.
It's got to detect the ring.
Detect the tone.
Detect the tone detection should be pretty straightforward with that.
There's probably a device that does all of that.
There are people doing this already.
You got Cincinnati Bell now.
No, I mean probably even out there looking up things like that, the device, because it's actually a common kind of function.
It is.
The old caller ID, they used to pick up the phone to get the caller ID information before the phone ever rang.
Well, they never picked up the phone. They picked up the code from the ring.
Yeah.
You can hear them when they call, and then after it rings, you get the codes dropped in there, and they don't pick up. They never pick up.
Yeah.
You pick up if you want to. But yeah, the deal is
it kind of passed the ring through, but it picked up what was going on it.
Yeah, it could read the signal when it was ringing. After each ring, you would hear it, and then it'd ring again.
You can actually send the signal before it rings. There's a line unit, the circuit back there that's microprocessor controlled that controls all of the sequence of what's done. And it connects up tone, it connects up ring circuits, it can connect up something to send you caller ID. So
Well,
the switch has control of all of that stuff.
all I really want to know is how to get the Arduino to detect that it rang without blowing the Arduino up.
It depends on what you have. If you have real ringing, you need to have something to.
If you got the analog, if you bring the signal into the analog input, matching the impedance, and if you see a ring signal on the analog input, you can say,
could be
okay,
huge,
that's a ring signal.
it could be. Where does the input come into? If it comes into the Arduino, that could be Fry City.
Yeah, you put a 100,000 ohm resistor and a Zener diode to keep the voltage down to, 2 volts, and it doesn't matter what the ring voltage is, it'll bring it down, and if it's high or if it's low.
Yeah, 1 cycle.
And then you could bring it to another analog input if you wanted to for when it gets to the audio level, and you can detect a ring. You should be able to detect a ring with an analog input and protect the inputs too with the voltage divider.
What actually happens when it goes off, when you pick up the receiver? Because I know there's a switch or something in there, isn't there?
When you pick up the switch, I know that the switch is going to turn the ring off. I think when you pick it up, there's like a closed loop.
Okay.
And the actual telephone switch is going to detect that you
actually picked it up.
The impedance goes way up. Originally, with the original call, the impedance is low. You're going into a ringer. And then when you pick up, the impedance goes way up, and that's probably what it's doing, is detecting the high impedance, and then it starts the phone call and answers. Because originally you're pushing a bell.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the old phones were all.
You probably have
what the phones know now is that they know what kind of line you have.
Yeah.
They know the actual switch, the telephone switch knows what kind of line. It's going to signal based on the kind of line that you have.
Yeah.
Okay, we'd have to measure the voltage going into it, get your scope out and see what's going on.
My scope is currently in storage right now, though.
You should be able to
If
do
you
that with a meter.
Yeah, voltmeter and see what the
Look at
voltage
the
looks like.
AC value.
My Panasonic cordless phone has a call blocker. The new cordless phones, the generic and Bluetooth. So now when I go in, you hear it connect up to my phone. When I walk in the house, it connects to the cordless phone, so you can answer the cordless phone on your home phone, which is actually preferable. And it also has call blocker, so if somebody calls you, don't want them to call back, you go call block, select this, save this number. You want to call block or put it on the call list, call block, save, and another step, and it's
Like
blocked.
the cell phones.
Yep. It's built into the Panasonic phones. But that's not sophisticated enough. If you don't push a button, you don't get to talk to Jim.
Say somebody has Cincinnati Bell as their service, and they said that's a feature he enabled, that there's a voice comes on to get rid of robocalls.
Okay.
Because if you're not a live person, you're not going to hear the message, you're not going to push the button.
Okay.
But this simple circuit, you're going to start knowing a lot about what the telephone system does.
This guy has been around for a while, and it's obviously a simple circuit because the cell phones interfere with it, apparently. So.
look here, here's maybe. Come on. Why do you do this to me, computer? This says it's a telephone ring detector module.
Very good.
For $20.
That's too much.
Yeah, but I'm just kind of looking at it.
$20 or 20 pounds?
It's,
That's dollars, yeah.
That's Canadian. It's less than 25
no, it's $20. It's 1974. So
American.
American.
Yeah, you see what that is? It's a capacitor.
There's a capacitor.
And that's an opto-isolator. That white thing is probably just an opto-isolator.
There's a transistor. Yeah, there's a couple of capacitors, a transistor, and
You're still better,
either a
you're still
resistor.
better off buying it than putting it together.
Maybe.
Not for $25.
You got to get a perf board. You got to get the right capacitors. You got to solder on it and all that stuff.
You see how much he values his time. Not for $20.
Oh, it's exactly. It would be about $25 because they want $5 to have it shipped. So.
So you see, can you get a used one? Leroy.
This was the cheapest one.
You haven't checked
When do we
China.
start producing those suckers, man? That is an oil fill. That's a Mylar capacitor, it looks like.
Yeah, looks like there's 3 capacitors, a transistor, and either a resistor pack or an opto isolator.
Yeah, one or the other.
You really need an opto-isolator there, though, that's true, or something.
Something will fry.
Okay, it's got the screws there, so all you got to do is connect the wires.
Yeah, what does it say here? Oh,
Off it goes.
See if you can negotiate them down to half price.
it was good seeing you again.
Yeah. I didn't have to work today, so I'm in my city.
Oh, man.
Good life.
My computer's being awful slow with Chromecast running. I was going to see if I could see what. Let's open. Looks like the symbol on the open collector output input. So the
Are you projecting that?
no, my computer started running really slow.
I'm going to connect it to it now. Here, look at this. This is what it is. This is what you probably have.
I
Hello.
did that. I'm sorry. That was me. I didn't realize you were casting.
Okay, I'll connect back up. Not a problem. But see, there's a circuit. You got a rectifier. Look, it's an opto-isolator.
It's
That's
an
what that white chip
opto-isolator, yeah.
was. It's a standard circuit. That's a Zener. I don't know why there's a Zener there, but
So
okay.
that's what we need to make
Ring detector.
a ring detector.
This is the Mylar capacitor because the voltage up there is high.
I've got
And a high capacitor. It's probably 0.1 microfarad.
I have no idea where any of that crap is right now because it's all in boxes because we're moving.
Even if you do, like even if you have bins, you gotta go find everything.
Well, I probably got everything we
Well,
need.
you probably got it. It just takes time.
Yeah.
You get a basket.
We in no hurry anyway.
And you go.
This is just-
Well, I could definitely
Jim's got plenty of time.
make the speech part of it and the code detecting part of the tone detecting part of it, I think, but I don't think I can make the rest of it right now. Because I just don't know where that stuff is right now. I have no idea. It's really horrible living out of boxes.
And actually, usually after you move, you're still living out of boxes for a long time.
Here's a variation of the circuit. This one is a .082, which is a little more than I expected.
Well, that looks a little closer to what this circuit that I'm looking at. Because it's got the transistor in it.
Yeah. It's just using a transistor to drive a relay.
Yeah.
P&P. That's it. 1K resistor. This guy's crude. So the ring detector is not too bad.
So how do you know it's ringing?
This contact will close over here.
I know that, but the signal that comes in.
It's
It
gonna.
could be any signal.
Well,
It could be
it's
lightning.
Yeah, it could be lightning,
Yeah.
and that's why the opto-isolator is there. If lightning comes in, it just blows the opto-isolator. But see this .082 and the 22K, that indicates the voltage is high. It's not 5 volts. It's not expecting 5 volts.
It should be pretty high voltage.
Okay, so any signal that comes in.
Yep.
It's
gonna have to be
that
a-
relay must be, is it latched?
And see the capacitor, no, it's not. It's
What's
no.
gonna keep the relay on?
All we want to do is, and this is what has to happen, you have to get a tone for a fixed length of time, okay? They're going to have to be varying. Well,
Okay.
the capacitor will pass a varying signal.
Right.
That's what it
So
does.
you need to be scanning that relay.
Yeah. When that relay closes, it's ringing.
Right, so you need to be scanning it to make sure, because it looks like it's gonna close, it's gonna open and close. It's gonna open and close at whatever rate the signal is.
Yeah, well,
At 20 hertz.
probably what I would probably need to add to this is to put a capacitor between this and ground. And what that will do is force a delay.
Yeah.
Force a delay.
Force it to stay up for a while.
So you can adjust the time.
Yeah, or
So
if you had a latching relay.
you could just do a latching relay.
Then you'd have to unlatch it.
Yeah, you have to unlatch it.
Well, but that would be.
You don't want it to latch. You just want it to come on when it rings. Wait, we'll let it ring for.
How about put a flip-flop on there?
Could put a flip flop on it.
Yeah.
You have to reset the flip-flop.
You could do some logic.
You could either put a NE 555 flip flop, okay. Or you could use a
What-
stupid relay.
What if? I mean, when it picks up the phone, because it's going to have to actually answer the phone when it rings. What if that trigger goes back and resets the relay?
A latching relay is just ridiculous. The JK flip flop is there. It's unnecessary because here's what you're going to do. Okay, you're going to have a resistor across the lines coming in, a low value resistance. Okay, so it thinks there's a ringer there. Okay, and when it detects the ringer, it's going to. Okay, if it rings for 1/10 of a second, long enough to charge up the capacitor to turn on the transistor, and the relay contact's going to close, you're going to have that on the input of the Arduino. Okay, it's going to say, okay, you detected a ring. okay? And that's valid. So what it's going to do is take the resistor out of the phone circuit and let the impedance go high. And that's the phone company then is going to say, somebody picked up the line. That's all you need to do.
Okay, so the phone company knows somebody's picked up the line.
Yeah,
What do you do with your Arduino after that?
when you see that the phone company sees that you picked up the line and takes the low ohm resistor out of the circuit, the impedance jumps up, and then what you got to do then is to feed the audio signal to those two lines through an isolation transformer.
Where's the audio signal going?
It's got to go back into.
Yeah, you have to have an audio output. It's not going to come from the Arduino, is it? Because the Arduino doesn't have an audio output. So you got to have an MP3 player. So here's what you do. Okay, you got an input. This is just a ring detector.
Got it.
Okay. And in the Arduino, and then we're going to have the phone line to a capacitor into an analog input. Okay. And probably with a potentiometer on here. Okay. So you can select the voltage going to the analog input. You're going to have, okay, here's your phone circuit. Here is your resistor. This is the ringer, equivalent ringer, low ohms resistance, okay? And then you're going to have a relay to open that circuit. Okay, and then when you open the circuit, there'll be another resistor, probably a transformer, and you're going to go into the analog input portion, and we'll go to one side of the transformer. We actually we could bring this in directly, but we probably want to use a transformer. High impedance transformer, step down transformer, so the impedance is high, right? This is low impedance, let's say 10 ohms, and this is 500 ohms. And the phone company can detect that it's 10 ohms, that's ringer mode, it's ready to ring. And when you open that up, then it's going to go to the transformer, and the transformer is going to go to the analog input.
All right, now the Arduino has to also know that now I've detected ring and I'm supposed to get this audio signal.
Yeah, it detected there's a ring.
So you're gonna, after you do detection, you're gonna do like a 10-second, or not, 1 second delay, and then you say I should be receiving a tone.
Yeah. Actually, we can do it instantaneously because this ring detector is already going to have a delay in it. We already talked about the ring detector circuit, right? So we're going to have a 0.1 second. It's going to have to ring for, let's say, 0.2 seconds. It's going to ring for 0.2 seconds, and when it sees that ring detector, it's already been a delay. It's a valid ring, and then it's going to switch over. It's going to disconnect this after it detects a ring. Okay, and then it's going to start looking at the analog input signal and say there is a signal coming in.
There's something there.
Yeah. Actually, we don't need the analog input signal. Yeah, we do, because we have to do DTMF. You know, we can do DTMF here.
Why do you need to do?
Because we want them to say push the button.
Oh, but so you're going to detect. You want them to say. Oh, you want them to push the button, yeah. And that's how you get your tone.
Well, let's talk about this first. Let's just talk about this. You call up, it answers, and you got to push the button. Okay, speaking is optional. at this point. Listening, sending a message out is optional. So this would be very simple. You're going to call, you're going to pick up, it's not going to say anything. And you have to know which button to push.
When they push the button, okay, I'm just trying to think about how you're going to get the tone. Well, they're going to push the tone, and then you're going to detect the tone.
They're going to push the button, and I'm going to detect the tone.
Right.
Okay.
You're not going to detect it off of just one analog pin.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You got a smart program.
you got a program.
Smart program.
Smart program. You can program that to. You mean to tell me that you, with an Arduino, you can't tell me that there are two tones on there, on a one audio input? Should easily be able to do that.
It's probably hard to get two tones. It's a combination tone.
Should be easy.
It's a combination of two tones.
It
so.
is.
So you need something to separate the tones, because you're looking at a complex signal, and the program's probably not going to be smart enough to. It's easier to do with hardware.
Well, we'll see. We'll look for DTMF in the Arduino. See if somebody decodes DTMF in the Arduino.
Yeah.
If we can't, we may have to go to two lines and do two filters.
It's the one that the DTMF decoder I've got. I think it uses 4 lines
Okay.
to decode.
Okay. But to get that tone to you, it's only using 2 lines. We got the phone line. It's only coming in on 1 line. Okay. Okay, so let's say we can detect it using this. We may have to use another circuit. Using the Arduino, we can tell there are 2 tones. Now here comes the hard part. Because we've already answered the phone. We can connect it. And we've already answered the stinking phone. So now we need to make the other phone ring. Or we need to signal you to pick up. Okay, we can do this then.
You could actually put a piezo buzzer on it.
Yeah.
And say, "Hey, fool, come and answer the phone now."
Yep. That's not
You don't need
terribly
a-
desirable, but because you're only going to have that, you're not going to have that everywhere. You're going to have that near
Next
where
to the
machine
phone,
is.
yeah.
Which is probably okay with us. And then
Well, you could put a loud piezo buzzer on it. You could run 12 volts to your piezo buzzer and put a loud one on there
and we got another
and
issue
pulse
too.
the buzzer.
We got another issue too. Well, the phones are gonna, yeah, we got a problem here. Because the phones are gonna have to be connected to this also. They're gonna be like phones in parallel. So the phone's gonna ring.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If you had a buzzer, you could say who should pick up. But they're all going to be connected to all of the phones are going to be connected to
Yeah.
that line.
We could pick up the line and let it beep, and then we could pick up
The
turn
only-
the phone ringers off on the phones.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could turn the ringers off on the phones, or
Yeah.
if this was the first thing in the sequence, right off the jack, the very first thing, you could make that work.
They're not in series, they're parallel circuit.
Yeah, they're parallel.
So the problem with the next problem is we want to make these other phones ring. In an optimal world, we want this signal to say, okay,
You want-
I don't
you-
turn this on.
What you want is the PBX.
You want to design your own PBX system.
That's where that's headed.
Okay, so skip all this, and you need a desktop computer with a couple of old modems in it, and a program called Asterix.
Asterix. Yes.
Is it free?
It's
Yes.
free. Asterix is free.
Okay, so I need a couple of old modems, and we can do this.
And you could do this.
And
Actually, you could do a lot more than this.
I did a lot more than this.
cool.
So skip all this.
Oh, okay. Dual modems.
Yeah, you're gonna have to look. I'm pretty sure it just uses modems, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Voice mode. Oh, the old voice modems.
They also have these cards. You can get cards that are made just for those things. But anyway, what you're doing is like you have a PBX and making it quite sophisticated.
You're making making your own telecommunications network inside your house. Connected to the POP system.
No. These things have a lot of intelligence.
Oh, Asterisk is extremely. It's probably will do way more than what you want to.
Just read about it.
Okay. Is it going to be hard to implement? Am I going to have to be a genius?
Nah.
Answer the phone with this message.
No, a lot of people have already done it. So
yeah,
you would be picking up on what other people have done. This has actually been around for a long time.
Yeah, but the more you're getting into this, the more you're connecting a PBX to a POTS system is all you're really going to do.
And actually,
and it should be pretty simple and straightforward.
You probably can get some cheap used stuff.
Okay, so the one thing they were complaining about this $139 unit is it only rings in one place.
Well, that's why.
Yep, and you pick up. And okay,
that's why, because they're using
this would be semi-acceptable, really. If it rings in one place, okay, that's and make it ring loud in the family room, and just don't pick up till you hear the. Now, another problem with this is voicemail. No voicemail.
Yep.
Asterisk. Asterisk. Okay.
Hey, as a matter of fact, they've got a version of Asterisk that runs on Raspberry Pi.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. Asterisk came out a long time before Raspberry Pi.
Long time before Raspberry Pi. And it was written or co-written by ham radio people.
Okay, another toy, I got Bluetooth. I have trouble with this. I listen to my headsets all the time.
I wanted my outlet back. I was going to start putting stuff away.
And the earphone jack, I'm wearing out the earphone jack on the phone. And that's bad. So I said I'll try Bluetooth. And these things are handy because I sleep with headphones on. And I'm constantly jerking the cords out and tearing up my cheap headphones. They're cheap, but I'm getting tired of them and I'm wearing a jacket. So this is Bluetooth, and supposedly, I guess you're supposed to wear them like this, and it has the little phones that you can put in your ears. And this is magnetic, so you can take the little phones and plug them in here. I guess you're supposed to put them in like this. So you can wear it around your head and let it sit, I guess, over your head if you want.
So how did that solve the problem of the jack on your?
Oh, you don't have to use a jack. This is wireless.
Oh, okay. So you just wear it around your neck.
Yeah, and you can pick it up. And what's more now is you can change the track. You can go back and go forward. You can adjust the volume without finding your phone.
I'm killing Chromecast
without finding your phone.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of classic because that is a problem sometimes. Where is the phone?
Yeah. Well, the phone. That now plays Beethoven music when you push it.
Okay.
And so I locked it on, pushed the button all the time, and I took the battery and put a spacer between.
Back to the drawing board.
So you got your push button that you push to ring the doorbell. It's wireless. Okay. You got a battery. Okay.
I'm going to kill the internet, Jeremy,
Okay.
if you're.
I'm not hooked up to it.
What you do is I put a little plastic spacer there, so it disconnects the battery from the circuit. Then I went over here to a reed switch and connected the battery like this,